Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. I'm Venus Green. Thank you so much for tuning in. First, I do want to say happy birthday to all of the Aquarians. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. We are going to talk about all of the major transits for this month, and we'll also go through that by rising sign as well as the ingresses and both moons. However, I do want to spend a little bit of time up front today talking about the Pisces energy. Specifically because we have so much in Pisces. Right now we have Saturn, the moon, Venus, Neptune, and the North Node. From Venus to the North Node, really in the latter degrees. The moon is currently on the first, is sort of sandwiched in between Saturn and Venus. And then, of course, we have the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius. However, at the end of the month, they're going to also be moving through Pisces or into Pisces, and all of these planets are going to be making a conjunction with Neptune. And so it's very Neptunian, Piscean, watery time this month. And then, of course, we still have Mars retrograde. And so I think that not only is that having an effect on our emotions, but also Mars retrograde is probably lessening our drive or our energy to put toward either our responsibilities or new things. If you've attempted to start maybe some New Year's resolutions and maybe that's not going so well, all of these things could be playing into that. So I do think it's important to just be aware of how this Neptune Piscean energy can really have an impact on us. There are definitely some really good things about this energy, namely compassion and creativity, right? Those are the kinds of things that we're going to want to lean into this month. But it also can present some pretty big challenges as well, and not to be a negative Nancy, but it's important to be aware of those things so that we can call them out in ourselves, or if we are witnessing them in our surroundings. It's just important, I think, not that we necessarily need to act on them if they're not happening to us, but it's just good to be aware of them, right? So that if you are experiencing some of this, again, if you're journaling or meditating, maybe are themes that you could put toward your meditation or journaling practices. So let's just talk about Pisces in general. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac, right? It's the final sign. So it represents the culmination of the zodiacal journey, and it really carries with it all of the wisdom from the signs that came before it. It's embodying the themes of spiritual connection and transcendence. And as the 12th sign, it's really deeply connected to endings, to reflection, and to release, right? Here, it really is inviting us to let go of what it is that no longer serves us. And that process allows us to make space for new beginnings. So this is a sign of surrender, but it's also a sign of trust. And it's really reminding us that sometimes we need to dissolve the boundaries of the material world in order to connect with the things that are beyond it. Now, Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune's been in this sign for quite a long time, since 2012, is I think when Neptune moved in. But Neptune's the planet of dreams, of intuition and spirituality. And Pisces really taps into those realms that are beyond all logic, right? It's where the imagination and our compassion thrive. So it's associated with the subconscious, with creative inspiration, and really like the mystical currents of life, right? That's in its highest expression. It is teaching us about the unconditional love and the interconnectedness of all things. But it is a water sign, it's a mutable sign, and so it's also very sensitive and very adaptive. So this is an energy that flows freely, but it can sometimes lack structure, right? So it leads to things like confusion or maybe a desire to escape reality. And this duality, the ability to inspire us to dream while also challenging us to stay grounded, is one of the most profound lessons that Pisces brings us. So during this time of really heavy Pisces energy, like we have in February, we're going to be invited to tune into our intuition and explore our spiritual side, but also to reflect on how we can embrace compassion, not only for ourselves, but for the world at large. And it's a time to really let go, right? To be able to dream big and trust that the universe guides us to where we're meant to be, but to know some of the pitfalls of that, like I said. So Neptune here is in its domicile, right? This is where it's most at home and able to express its energy in the most pure form. So as the other planets move through Pisces, they're going to be heavily influenced by that Neptunian energy. So for example, Venus in Pisces is really going to be amplifying things like unconditional love and creativity and romantic ideals. Now, being between Saturn and Neptune, that is going to maybe present some challenges, but again, in its highest form, that's sort of what we're going for there. Saturn in Pisces is really really seeking to ground our spiritual ideals, right, into reality, and also to wrestle with disillusionment. And then, of course, we have the moon there too, and that really heightens the emotional sensitivity and our intuitive awareness. So again, on the one hand, really good things that we can lean into as long as we understand what the pitfalls are that can also come with that. So it's a really spiritual and creative time, has a lot of potential for that, but the energy can also bring about some challenges. And particularly when we are not consciously harnessing the energy, right? If we're not leaning into that more creative, compassionate, and what we can do with it, with the energy in that way, then we may be suffering through some of the challenges. So some of the challenges of Neptune in Pisces can be this desire to escape from reality, right? This is, it could manifest as maybe a tendency to avoid our responsibilities, right? And an unwillingness to face difficult truths that are in front of us, or maybe just an unwillingness to confront some emotional pain that we may need to be going through, right? But we're escaping from that. So this can look like overindulgences, right? In things like substances, alcohol. It can look like overindulging in fantasy, right? Living too much in the head and not sort of taking care of the things that we need to, or maybe just distractions overall, right? Using any form of distraction as a way to numb or avoid things that are emotionally difficult. So procrastination, or maybe just denial in the face of some important decisions that we need to work through. So if you have this sort of feeling of just like being adrift or maybe overwhelmed, disconnected in some way, again, things you probably want to meditate on and journal about. That's what I would recommend. This Neptune in Pisces can also really blur the boundaries, and what I think often happens is like misunderstandings, right? Or maybe some difficulty discerning reality from illusion, right? We can have some miscommunications in our relationships, maybe with decision making, maybe due to idealism or just unclear intentions, but it's sort of a like feeling lost or uncertain about the direction that we need to take or the purpose of either those directions or just our purpose in general, right? It's a really sort of foggy mental state. It's where things seem intangible or maybe just hard to pin down. Over idealizing people is definitely another one, right? People, situations, or goals in general. When reality is really falling short of these lofty ideas that we might have, it can result in some disillusionment, some disappointment, and sometimes feeling like we've been betrayed a little bit, maybe betrayed by ourselves, but sometimes by other people as well. So It's important to remember not to put unrealistic expectations on relationships or projects or visions. Because what we're trying to do is really prevent feeling let down, right? When something doesn't sort of live up to this imagined standard that we've had. And part of the reason I say that is because we have Venus moving into Aries, we'll have Mercury moving into Pisces, and then they are both going to retrograde over these degrees that we have now. And so, again, just things to be mindful of, right? It's a cycle to definitely sort of lean into hope, but to not to be disillusioned, right? And to understand that the expectations that we have of this time period may need to be revisited or at a later date, right? With the with the retrograde coming up. Boundaries is another big one, right? This can lead to some difficulty maintaining our personal limits in relationships or with our work or just with our emotional energy overall, right? Overextending yourself as an effort to, again, we have so much Pisces compassionate energy. We may be wanting to assist or help others in some way, but we need to keep in mind that we can do that to a point, but not to the point of burnout, right? Not to the point where we don't have time and energy to fulfill the things that we need to do for ourselves. And struggling with either distinguishing your emotions from those around you. And that really is more about being empathetic, right? Because this is a lot of Pisces energy can maybe cause us to feel drained. It can cause us to feel overexposed, or maybe unsure of where you end and another one begins, right? And that kind of ties back to the first one. So mindfulness and just being aware that energy is out there, I think is one of the most important ways to prevent that. All of this Pisces energy can really also lead to an over-reliance on things like fantasy or setting unrealistic goals, right? As some way to cope with either dissatisfaction in these areas of your life or maybe just some hardships that you're going through. It's important to be realistic, right? We don't want to be clinging to unrealistic dreams or ignoring practical realities in the pursuit of something that we truly know might be unattainable, right? Keeping in mind that there's only so much that we can control, right? When it comes to either, like I said, love or setting goals or fantasies or daydreams, right? We don't want to be escaping into daydream or entertainment, right? That can include just binge watching Netflix or something on television as a way to sort of dive into the fantasy world rather than addressing whatever our real life issues are at the time. So it's a reminder to watch out for a lack of or be mindful that if you have a lack of grounding, right? And grounding can look like a lot of things, but taking the time to really digest and understand your emotions and what the energy is that you're moving through this month can really help us so that we don't get caught up in what could be, right? Neptune can also, or all this Pisces energy can really make it hard to deal with or maybe see things clearly, right? So it increases our risk of falling prey to deceit or manipulation or some sort of self-delusion, right? You want to be finding a way to stay grounded all month so that you are not believing in some sort of false promises or illusions, particularly maybe in the area of Venus themes, right? Relationships or maybe financial matters. So don't overlook any red flags. This is particularly a time to keep your awareness up about those kinds of things, right? If we have this in the theme of finances or relationships, we have this desire to sometimes see the best in others, which again is good to a point, but not to the point that we're putting all of our sort of trust, or we're letting our guard down in a sense where those things can become problematic for us, right? We're trying to prevent, again, with the Venus and Mercury retrograde in this area of our chart, we're trying to prevent later feeling like we have been betrayed or like we were naive to something, right? You really want to be questioning your judgment throughout this month and certainly next month as well, so that you are reaching truth, the truth that you're trying to get to, in a meaningful way. All right, and then the last thing I want to just mention is that, again, all of this Pisces energy can make us really highly empathetic, really sensitive, right? And Neptune being there definitely amplifies that. All of this other energy amplifies that. So while we want to look at the sensitivity that we're being offered as a gift, it can also lead us to feeling emotionally overwhelmed, or maybe we have some difficulty managing our feelings in some way. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, then I think it's important to recognize if those emotions and that energy is yours or if it's coming from another, right? Understanding the boundary there. And if you're struggling to shield yourself from that type of stress, or either penetrating you, or those sort of negative emotions coming at you, definitely a time to, lean into some sort of spiritual practice. Go outside and take a walk. Just being outside. If you're not interested in meditating and journaling's not your thing, just go outside, right? Clear your thoughts, clear your mind, and allow yourself to process those emotions, and then you can come back to those things, right? And then, do you feel the same way, right? If you have, I would say, jotted all of these potential challenges down, then you would have an opportunity to reflect back on them, right? Am I experiencing this or not? The most important thing is just to watch out for the red flags, right? And I don't know that this isn't really the time, in my opinion. You can do whatever you want, but isn't the time to be probably making major decisions, major changes with these areas of our life. So some of the things that we can do to help stay grounded would be, again, taking walks in nature. I think that's wonderful. If you can't take a walk, if you can just go outside, right? If you're in a place where it's not freezing, there's a foot of snow where I live right now, so I can't really get my bare feet on the ground. But, you can go outside and in some way just watch nature. Try not to be, in a super busy place where you can't, if it's difficult for you to block those things out. Anyway, you can get to a park, or just, maybe you can sit in your car and roll down the windows, any way you can to just experience sort of nature and help bring you back to center is my advice. Definitely be setting some boundaries as a way to protect your energy, especially within your relationships, or in any situations that you are experiencing some emotionally challenged or charged situations. Again, that sort of ties back with the Mars retrograde as well, but having maybe no boundaries to sort of protect you from that with all of this Pisces energy can feel like something. So definitely, find a way to say no if that's not generally in your vocabulary, because you feel like you're one of those people who feel like you want to help everybody. That is certainly commendable, but may not be realistic during this time. And then just really regularly assessing, what are my goals? What are my beliefs, right? And are they too lofty? Again, keeping in mind that we only have control over really ourselves and how we react to situations. In terms of goals, I think we often do know what's unrealistic. And it doesn't mean that, maybe it doesn't mean that your goal's too big or it's not achievable, but maybe it just means that we need to understand that those things are going to probably move slowly, right? Things don't happen in a day. And while we do want to sort of flow with the energy, right? Because that's generally the quickest way to get to our goal. We do have to take action, right? We just can't daydream all day long about things coming to us and then they just fall into our lap, right? There is action needed from us at some point. So, and I think that sort of ties back with keeping up on our responsibilities, even if we feel overwhelmed and this need to escape. And then the last one I would just say is really just stay present. And that can be difficult, right? So it can be important to, when we need to be present. But the best way we can show up to be present, I think, is by making sure that we are taking time for ourselves, right? To do all of the things that we already talked about. So I suppose just to sort of wrap it up, Neptune in Pisces is a really powerful influence, right? It's going to be encouraging us to lean into some spiritual growth, lean into our creativity and our compassion, but it also requires some conscious effort to avoid the shadow side, and I think that's the most important thing that we can take away from this energy. Right? We want to have some opportunities throughout our day, throughout our week, so that we can gain clarity with what it is that we're dealing with. When we have clarity, we can find a way to balance that energy. And then, of course, just being aware that the energy is coming. So listening to your horoscope and sort of understanding where this energy falls within your personal chart would be the last thing that I would recommend. All right, before we move into the transits and the rest of the monthly detail, I do just want to do a couple of reminders. One, I really like to approach astrology as a way to just be aware of the energy that's coming. I feel like it's an extremely practical tool that we have available to us to understand things like we just talked about. So again, I am a Western astrologer. I recommend that you listen to this overview and then also the key energies for the month, but in particular, first listen for your rising sign, as that's how these horoscopes are written. That's going to provide for you the most personalized insights, right, when it comes from your rising sign. Then, of course, you can always listen for your sun sign. Those themes are likely going to resonate either with your core self, your purpose, your, maybe what's happening in your career. And finally, you can listen for your moon sign, as that's probably going to give you the best understanding of what's happening with you emotionally for the month. Now, in my practice, I do like to very much focus on astrology as a practical tool, right? It's a guide to help us work through the energy each month. And I believe that astrology is, it's not just about predictions, right? It's about empowerment. And that's something that I think is very important in our lives. And my goal is always to help you navigate your daily life with clarity and intention. It's certainly my joy to support clients in understanding themselves through their natal chart readings, but really just listening to your horoscope can give you a vast amount of information. One of the things that I feel really strongly about is that many of us spend so much time, if you just logged in a week, certainly in a month, the amount of time that we spend focused on our external circumstances or sucked away into social media. Yeah, I'm going to say it. And if we just poured a fraction of that amount of energy into understanding, truly knowing ourselves and nurturing ourselves via astrology, understanding our natal chart, then I believe that we really could lead healthier lives, more positive lives. And I definitely think that's something that astrology offers to us. For me, it's a bridge between spirituality and science. I believe that astrology is the oldest type of science that there is, right? It's a co-creative practice that aligns you with the universe, right? The planets are reliable. They're consistent. They are always exactly where they are meant to be, right? There are no mishaps. There's no oops. One of the planets was somewhere it wasn't supposed to be today. So when you understand the planetary movements, we really have an opportunity to gain some tools to help us live more intentionally and to be harmonizing with the rhythm of the cosmos. So again, that's my spiel. I think astrology is a wonderful, wonderful tool. So if you would like to book a reading with me, you can find me on my website at venus'sgreenspot.com. Under the services section, you will find the options available to you. Alternately, I encourage you to like, subscribe, and maybe even follow me on Instagram or Facebook. I am on both as Venus Green. So let's get into the overview for February. So this is going to be a month that's about transition and balance, right? We're in a mutable sign. We have a lot of energy moving through a sign that's going to be encouraging us to make changes. We have the sun for the first half of the month in Aquarius. So we're sort of still riding that wave of intellectual clarity, what's future focused, right? And sort of a collective vision of all of that with the sun being in Aquarius. But Aquarius is a sign that really encourages us to step into our individuality and to do that, but also to recognize the interconnectedness of everything, right? Of us with others, and the fact that we are truly all one, right? This is the month where we are probably going to want to be pushing some boundaries. So that might be something, again, keep in mind all the Neptune information. All of that is like the backdrop to everything that we're going to say this for this month. But we'll also be wanting to explore some new ideas, right? And all of that in the sense of how can we find ways to really build a better future together? I think that's what we're going toward, especially in the United States. We have lots of things happening, big changes in government happening likely at the end of January. And so we're leading into definitely a time of change and transition. And the sun will be then moving into Pisces on the 18th of February, right? So that's going to shift us from the sort of air kind of mental stimulation into more of the water emotional side of things. And that's where I think we're going to be invited to further slow down, to reflect and really connect on our inner worlds. Mars is still going to be retrograde at that time as well. And so it's really a time for dreaming, for creating and tapping into our intuition, right? Use that Pisces energy in the most positive way that you can. Now, if we look at the ingresses for the month, we have Venus in Aries. Venus will be moving into Aries on February 4th. So Venus is the planet of love and beauty, relationships, values, and in the sign of Pisces, it's really dreamy and compassionate, right? But she's going to be moving into Aries, and that's more bold and fiery. And so that shift is probably going to feel a little bit like a wake-up call. While she's been in Pisces, she has been encouraging some deep emotional connections, maybe some idealistic dreaming, but Aries is going to bring about a different sort of spark, right? One of courage and assertiveness. And when Venus is in Aries, she's really asking us to focus on what it is that we want unapologetically, right? And this is a time really to be embracing passion. We might feel like we want to take the lead in relationships at this time. We might just be, passionately pursuing some sort of creative projects, right? With some really bold confidence. But whatever you're feeling with the energy, just remember to balance that fiery energy, right, with some patience and some understanding. That's definitely important. On February 14th, Valentine's Day, we are going to have Mercury move into Pisces. So lovely conversations about emotions, right? Mercury is the planet of communication and thought. And when Mercury is in Pisces, your thoughts are probably going to feel a little more fluid and flowing, right? They'll be more creative for sure, and you may feel more connected to your inner world. So this would be a really good time for some artistic pursuits, right? Some creative writing, some journaling. You can maybe take all of that dreamy energy and write yourself a beautiful love poem or just a poem in general, maybe a song. maybe a ritual if that's something that you are into. But again, finding a way to use that energy creatively is going to be the best outlet for all of this Pisces energy, right? Again, keeping in mind that Pisces can sort of blur the lines of logic. So definitely is a month where we're going to want to double check all the details when we are communicating, when we are making some decisions, if they're final decisions for sure, right? Make sure you're taking the time to do that. And then on the 18th, the sun is going to move into Pisces, and this will really bring the collective focus to things like compassion and spiritual practices, maybe spiritual exploration. This energy is going to become more reflective and inward as we close out this astrological year. So it's a good time to remind you that if you haven't been really fantastic about maybe sticking to New Year's resolutions, not only is Mars probably impacting that, but also that this isn't the time for brand new things, in my opinion. Again, you can do whatever you feel called to do, but we're closing out this astrological year. The astrological year, new year, doesn't really start until the sun moves into Aries, which isn't until late March. So we're still in a time of sort of closing everything out, and so it's just important to not be hard on yourself during this time, I think, especially if you set some New Year's resolutions and you haven't been super great at sticking to those. But Pisces season is really the time to honor our emotions. It's a time to listen to your intuition and to embrace the power of your imagination, right? Again, keeping in mind that we don't want to be stuck in our imagination all day, but our imagination is really how we sort of draw things to us, right? If you're trying to create new or new space in your life, if you're trying to bring about something new in your life, you definitely want to start with your use this time to dream big, right? Write those things down in the form of journaling, and then of course be using the moons to release what it is that no longer serves you, and then the new moon to be setting some proper intentions for those things to come about in your life. All right, let's talk about the planets that are stationing this month. We have both Jupiter and Mars will station direct. So Jupiter has been retrograde, I think, since early October, right? Jupiter's the planet of expansion, of wisdom, of opportunities, and he will station direct in Gemini at 11 degrees, right? So this is really going to mark the time of all of this reflecting that we've been doing on maybe how we learn, how we communicate, how we connect with the larger world. It's going to mark an end to that, right? And as he moves forward, it's going to be time to start applying some of those insights and to start taking some action on them. Maybe not right away, right? But definitely when he starts to move forward. In Gemini, the energy is really encouraging us to embrace curiosity, to explore new ideas, and to be seeking some new or fresh perspective on things, right? If those are areas of your life where you have been feeling stuck, in areas like learning, teaching, communication, his stationing and forward is going to be helpful, right? For bringing about a renewed sense of clarity, right? Some forward momentum in those areas of your life. So this would be a good time to be thinking about setting intentions for things like growth, for maybe taking on some new studies if that's something that you're interested in, or maybe just sharing your ideas with others. That's possible as well. Now Mars is going to station direct at 17 degrees of Cancer, and that is happening on February 23rd. So again, Mars retrograde has really likely brought up some deep emotional things, right? Particularly around Cancerian type things, home, family, personal security. When Mars is retrograde in Cancer, we can find it difficult to express our emotions. People have likely been passive aggressive during this time. They maybe have had, and maybe you too, have had some heightened emotions. And so people really feel a strong desire when Mars is in Cancer to be protecting what is theirs, right? And in the realm of home, family, friends. And a lot of times this energy is referred to as like mama bear energy, right? Like, don't come near my shit. So if you felt any of that either around you or within yourself, those things are going to be coming to an end, right? So you're going to feel more empowered as Mars starts to move retrograde, and you'll probably feel more aligned with what it is that you need emotionally. So know that that's coming, right? Cancer influence always reminds us to sort of lead with some sensitivity and to lean into our intuition rather than aggression, right? Which is what Mars is kind of stands for. It is also important to remember that there are shadow periods for both of these planets, right? It takes them, when a planet turns, either when it stations either retrograde or direct, it takes it a little while when it's stationing direct to sort of get up to speed, if you will. And it still has to go back through those degrees that it has already, moved over backward. So it's gone forward and then backward, and now we're going forward again. And those shadow phases can really still offer us some lessons about how to refine the things that came up, or how to integrate those things that came up during the time of retrograde, right? It's like, how do we integrate that wisdom that we gained during those retrogrades? So pay attention to those lingering themes that happened in the past few months, and know that until Mars gets back to 6 degrees of Leo, we're still within shadow period. And when Jupiter gets back to 21 degrees of Gemini. So I think that happens in the same week, like the first week of May, they both sort of leave their shadow period. So just know, like I said, it's not that you can't move forward with those things. You certainly can, but just know that there might be some additional wisdom popping up until they have reached those degrees. Now let's talk about the transits for the month. Since we have so much energy really in Pisces and a good amount in Aquarius, we don't have a ton of aspects this month. It's mostly, what's moving through Pisces, making, a few aspects to the other planets, right? We're all kind of bunched up right here in the Aquarius Pisces signs right now. But we are going to start the month off with Venus conjunct Neptune, right? And that can be sort of dreamy, but also it's Neptune is the planet of dreams and spirituality, right? But we have the North Node there too, right? And that can kind of symbolize destiny and growth. But this alignment can definitely heighten our creativity and our compassion, even our connection with others. So it's a good time to lean into, again, those types of things, any sort of artistic or creative projects, to be deepening any spiritual practices that you are interested in, and trying to embrace really unconditional love within your relationships. But definitely, like I said, stay grounded. You don't want to see people through googly, glazed, I guess probably rose-colored glasses is the best way to put that, right? It's probably the better term. But with all the Pisces energy, right, we have this tendency to sort of blur reality. And so be mindful of things like escapism and idealizing situations with that conjunction. On the 3rd, we're going to have Mercury trine Jupiter, and this is a really supportive aspect. The planet of communication and the planet of expansion, right? It's bringing this sort of flow of optimistic and innovative ideas, and so that's what you want to lean into. You might have some breakthroughs in problem solving if you've been sort of mulling over some things that you've struggled to deal with or find a resolution for. You might have some really good opportunities for networking. You might just have some really uplifting conversations during this time. So those are all good uses of that energy. If you've been thinking about pitching some sort of idea, if you've been wanting to plan some project, if you just have knowledge that, again, some wisdom that you've gained that you want to share, this is the time to do that. So stay open to those sort of fresh perspectives coming through. Now on February 7th, we will have the North Node conjunct Neptune. That happens at 28 degrees of Pisces. So this is a relatively rare alignment, right? And it brings sort of this collective focus on spiritual growth and alignment with like higher purposes. And so you might feel really pulled toward activities or relationships that align with what feels like your soul's path at this time. And it is a good time to trust in your intuition and to allow that inner compass that you have to guide you. Definitely pay attention to any synchronicities that pop up at this time. They could reveal some really important insights about your journey. So whenever we have aspects with the North Node, right, that is sort of, they feel fated, they feel like destiny. And so again, keeping in mind the sort of Neptune backdrop that we have, but good energy for that. On the 7th, we are going to have Venus sextile Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius. And so this is after Venus pops into Aries, right? And she is going to form this sextile with Pluto. So it's going to probably spark some passion, right? You could have, you could be feeling some empowerment in your relationships or with your creative projects. This is definitely an energy that's going to encourage you to connect with others in a really authentic and sort of fearless way, right? It's a good time to dive deep into some meaningful connections, or maybe to just be channeling this passion, overwhelming passion that you have into some sort of project that you have going on. Now from the 9th to the 11th, we are going to have both the Sun and Mercury square Uranus. So Uranus can always bring about some surprises. So I would expect that. Some sudden shifts, again, things that Uranus is pretty known for. He's the planet of rebellion, right? And the planet of change. And so this is an energy that sometimes can feel disruptive, but it is also an opportunity for, other positive things that Uranus stands for, like breakthroughs or innovation. And so you might be faced with some challenges at this time, but it's probably going to feel like something that's sort of pushing you outside of your comfort zone if that happens. But you can definitely lead with innovation and growth, as those are things that would positively support that energy, right? Just try to stay flexible and be open to unexpected situations that could pop up. Now, from the 20th to the 27th, we have like Mercury. It's like Mercury is making all the aspects, and this is going to lead like right into the new moon. So, I would say definitely this is a really good time to be journaling, to be keeping track of your thoughts, to be clearing out your mind so that you have this, the best opportunity possible to be setting, positive intentions for when the new moon does start. But let's go through the aspects. So Mercury is going to square Jupiter at 11 degrees of Gemini. And, this can be expansive, right? Jupiter, but it can also be sort of like overzealous energy. So if you are making decisions, if you are communicating anything important, anything at all, really, it's a really good time to just be mindful of the risk of overcommitting. That's what I would say. If you are feeling inspired, definitely work that energy out in the way that feels most beneficial for you. Just don't overcommit, and make sure that you are keeping track of the details, right? Jupiter and Gemini can be a little bit overwhelming, a little bit too many thoughts, a little too scatterbrained, maybe is a good word. So definitely here, take the time to evaluate the opportunities that come up for you, but also to ensure that whatever enthusiasm you have toward those things, make sure that that's balanced and it's practical, right? Then on February 23rd, we're going to have Mercury trine Mars, and Mars is still retrograde, but it'll be when he's stationing at 17 degrees. So this is a harmonious aspect, right? It's going to connect our emotional intuition with action, which is what Mars is about. But you might find it easier to express your feelings. You might find it easier to maybe take some step toward resolving some emotional matters, but this is really an energy that's going to be supporting, nurturing your communications, maybe having some really heartfelt discussions, and probably around things related to home or family or projects related to home and family, right? On February 25th, on February 25th, Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn, and Saturn's all about structure and discipline, right? So it's really applying that to your thoughts and your communication. This is a really good time to do some focused work, to maybe have some serious conversations if that's something that you need to do, or really to just be setting some boundaries within your relationships maybe. You could use this energy to be tackling challenging tasks, ones that require some level of clarity and probably emotional maturity. That would also be a good use of this energy. Now on February 27th, we have Mercury sextile Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. And so this is really going to spark some creative solutions for most of us, and probably some innovative thinking, right, in the positive form. So this could encourage you to be embracing some unconventional ideas. It's also probably going to be a good idea to trust your intuition. It's definitely a good time for brainstorming, for trying some new approaches to something, or maybe just connecting with folks who really inspire you. That would be a good use of this energy. And again, like I said, all the way from the 20th to the 27th, these aspects are happening. And then right after that, we're going to have the new moon in Pisces. So let's first talk about the full moon. So on February 12th, we have the full moon in Leo. That happens at 24 degrees. And the moon in Leo really illuminates those Leo type themes, right? What are those? Like self-expression, creativity, personal recognition. Leo really encourages us to step into the spotlight, to celebrate who we are as an individual, and it really wants to let our heart lead the way. That's what Leo's all about, the heart. So the one thing I would say is that moon is going to be square Uranus, and so it could bring about some unexpected shifts or maybe some disruptions to that time frame. So you might find yourself maybe reevaluating what it is that truly brings you joy, right, from that heart center. You might be uncovering areas where you maybe have been holding yourself back from shining authentically, right? Because that's another thing that Leo is all about, shining its light, right? Leading from the heart. So wherever you are in your life, it's important to be at this time embracing more confidence and boldness. So I would say those are themes that you could probably reflect on, right? How is it that you can use that Leo full moon to express your creativity in a way that feels really authentic, in a way that you are aligned. Now on February 27th, then we have the new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees. And this is, I want to say it's the 4th or 5th new moon that we've had at 9 degrees. 9 stands for change. So it's probably going to be really introspective. It's probably going to be also a pretty spiritual time, right, for many of us. So it's a really good time for setting intentions that are tied to things like healing, your creativity, your intuition. And while Pisces loves for us to dream big, right? We want to connect with our inner worlds, right? We want to be trusting in the flow of life that is happening. And there is an aspect also to this new moon, and that is that Mercury will be conjunct Saturn at the same time. So this is going to add some structure and some grounded focus to those intentions, which is why I said, be journaling, be keeping track of what's happening between the 20th and the 27th, so that when the new moon actually happens and you are ready to set intentions, you have that information available to you. The new moon is, I think it's at 7. Yeah, it's at 7:44 p.m. That's Eastern time, so you'll have to adjust that for your time zone. But a good thing to remember is that if you don't know, is that you really shouldn't be setting your intentions, right? It's a good idea to journal, keep track, clear your mind, get your thoughts out about what it is that you think you might want to be setting intentions for. But actually setting those intentions, you don't want to do that until after the new moon, which again is at 7:44 p.m. So adjust that for your time zone. A couple of other things I wanted to just mention regarding new moons, and if anybody's interested, is some themes to explore, right? So for this new moon, it would be really what emotional or spiritual practices might be helpful for you to feel more aligned and more inspired, right? And really be working on setting intentions around things like emotional growth, artistic pursuits, spiritual exploration. I feel it's really important to create a quiet space, some sort of sacred space that will allow you to reflect on your dreams and really to use your imagination to visualize those things taking hold in your life, right? Mind-heart connection is really about, allowing your heart to lead the way, and bringing about these new intentions in our life I would say does begin with your imagination, right? When you are leading into things like prayer, meditation, those things really, really come about when you believe that energy, that thing can be a part of your life, when you are truly feeling that. And that, I think, happens in our imagination, right? When you can, whatever it is that you want to bring about, maybe it's a new house, maybe it's a new car, maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a new relationship, but whatever those things are, you have to be able to sit and clear your mind and see yourself, feel yourself in that new thing, right? And the more time you can spend doing that, I think the quicker we can bring those things about in our life. Now, I did have a book selection that I wanted to share with you, and this is Jan Spiller's New Moon Astrology. Love this book. And just to give you a sort of a little, I guess, preview of what's in here, there's sort of like rules of the road at the beginning. But what this does is there's a chart at the beginning that will help you identify it's like the table of all of the moons, all the way to like 2050, I think. So one, you don't have to have any astrology background to use this book. And I think that it's really helpful if you are somebody who is getting into meditation, getting into new moon intention setting and full moon release opportunities. This is a good book to start with. So what I would say is that it goes through really like what to wish for, right? And kind of how to write those intentions. So let me just read for you really quickly. Pisces, and I should have marked this, but I didn't. Yes, I did. So with a new moon in Pisces, what to wish for and when the new moon is in Pisces. And it kind of goes through themes. So there's imagination, inner happiness, psychic sensitivity, trust, mystic awareness, spiritual healing, compassion, and releasing helplessness. Now, what I think is awesome about this book is that it breaks those things down. And so let's say, for instance, what you choose to wish for would be spiritual awareness or channeling of spiritual power. So it has in in each section sort of sample wishes. And so then you could rewrite those in a way that is most meaningful to you. So let me just read one to you under spiritual awareness. I want to easily surrender all worries and anxieties into the healing hands of a higher power. In my daily life, I want to consciously and consistently remember that Source is doing it all. I want to easily find myself trusting a higher power to successfully guide my life. And then, of course, it goes on, so I won't read it all to you because I think it's a really good book. But it breaks it down into those types of things, and I think it's really helpful when you are just beginning to actually set intentions in a proper way by, I would say, write them down with pencil. And you could either burn them, you can keep them, you can, in Pisces, you can put them into water and just let them dissolve. But it's a good book for that. I also selected this card of the High Priestess. And so the reason I picked this is because I do feel like it represents Pisces, all of this Pisces energy that we have, right? This card really is about, it embodies intuition, spiritual wisdom, and the connection with the higher self, right? So as you would reflect on Pisces, it's this sort of sensitivity, and it's the inner focus, I guess, of a new moon and sort of uncovering hidden truths. And so something I would encourage you to look up is not only what is the meaning of the High Priestess and understanding that, but what's awesome about tarot cards is that the meaning is really all in the image, right? And so sort of understanding what the images mean, like these two columns mean something, right? This veil that's behind her is, I don't know how I can get that, is, that's what it is. It's a veil, and it has pomegranates on it. All of those things have everything in this card has meaning. And so she's holding a scroll of the Torah. Her cape, or her, whatever you call what she's wearing, right? It has, it looks like water, right? And that's sort of the purpose of it. And so I think this is a really good card for this new moon, and I would definitely encourage you to do some investigation about that if that's something you're interested in. One other thing I wanted to share with you in this book is that I think is awesome, is that it has a table of the North nodes. So again, you don't need any astrology background to be able to use this book, but you can look up your personal North node. You can do that if you Google natal chart calculator. You'll know right where your North node is. But you could also use this table in here. There's a table that helps you find your birth year, and that the nodes only change signs every 18 months. And so it's a good way to understand about your personal node. Now, I wanted to read for you the North Node in Pisces, just one section. Again, it's a few pages long, but this sort of goes through what are the things that, if you have your North Node in Pisces, really what it is in this life that you are here to understand, right? What are the lessons that you're trying to learn? So, again, just read to you one small paragraph here. Pisces North Node people are learning to surrender their excessive anxiety and to trust in a higher power. Pisces North Node people carry a pattern of incessant anxiety from their past incarnations in their subconscious. When they don't know what's going on with a situation, their worry habit is triggered and they feel out of control, they fear the worst, and they create unnecessary problems. So they're learning to trust in the larger picture, that everything is working toward their highest good, and that regardless of the twists and turns in their life, a higher power will take care of them and will bring them what they need for happiness and fulfillment. So, and then it goes through some sample wishes. But there are several pages of that for every North Node. And so again, really awesome book that I would encourage anybody who's interested to purchase. Seek it from your library. I get books from the library all the time. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you is this full moon in Leo. And number one, I love this. It's a Moonology card. Thank you to the loved one who purchased these for me a long time ago. I love these cards. They're very simple. Most cards that you get will come with some sort of book that would help guide you through, but you can look these things up on the internet as well. But this one in particular says, don't let pride get in your way. And I think oftentimes when we think about Leo, we do think pride. We think of being very prideful, right? Showing ourselves. But I think at the full moon, what we really are talking about here is don't let the belief or needing to be flawless be the thing that prevents you from projecting the image that you think you are, right? For a better way to say that would be shining your light. And I think sometimes we do that, right? We hold ourselves to the conditions that we're in, to the relationships that we have. It can be difficult sometimes, I think, to make changes, to show your light. It's easier to sometimes shove your light under a bush and not share it than it is to shine it and be your authentic self, right? Because why? Because we don't want to be judged, because we don't want to be maybe challenged. We may just have fear overall about sort of being in the spotlight. And while I think if you are a Leo sun, that may not be your issue, but if you are working through some releasing through a full moon in Leo energy, I think that's one thing to look at, right? And I think that book will help too, right? Knowing what our North Node is, kind of what is our destiny, what are we here to do, what are we here to overcome. I think all of those things sort of tie together. So if you are looking for what it is that you should be releasing during this full moon, I think that understanding a little more about full moon in Leo might help you. All right. So that wraps up the overview for the month. And now we are going to move into rising signs. All right. First up, we have Aries rising. Welcome, Aries. I hope you are having a great month. All right, for you, February is going to likely be filled with some opportunities that are going to allow you to step into your power, to reconnect with your passions, and to find some balance between bold action and emotional grounding. So you are the first sign of the zodiac, right? So you thrive in this sort of energetic, forward-moving type of time. And this month is going to offer you a good amount of that, plenty of momentum to work with here. And so let's start off with your chart ruler. Now, Mars is still retrograde at the beginning of the month, right? It's moving through Cancer until February 23rd. So over the past few months, the Mars retrograde may have brought up some deep emotional themes for you, especially around the area of home, family, and personal security. So this is a period that's likely to encourage you to really reassess how it is that you assert yourself in these areas of your life. Mars is going to station direct on the 23rd, so you're going to feel that shift, and the energy is probably going to move more outward, right? It's going to be bringing you some clarity and drive around actions or insights that you've gained during this retrograde time. So those could be related to a home project. It could be a family discussion. It could just simply be creating a stronger emotional foundation, right? One where you feel really ready to move forward with some confidence in those areas. Specifically for the transits, the highlight of the month for you is really Venus moving into Aries on the 4th, right? It's moving into your first sign. So this boosts your confidence, your charm, and your magnetism. And this transit is really perfect for prioritizing your personal desires in relationships, for revamping your style if that's something that you are looking into, or maybe just starting a creative project. But you're likely going to feel a little bolder, a little more self-assured. And I would say lean into that energy, right? Take the lead in those areas that feel like they light you up right now. Then on the 12th, we'll have the full moon in Leo. And for you, that's going to light up your 5th house of creativity, romance, and self-expression. So this is really your time to shine, right? It's a time to celebrate your passions, to share your talents with the world, and embrace what it is that makes you unique. There is a square to Uranus during this full moon in your second house. So there could be some unexpected shifts or maybe surprises that are related to finances or values. This is a good time to just stay flexible and open to some new approaches, right? And this shift might guide you toward really a more like authentic way of expressing your self-worth, right? Because that's another second house theme. And then the new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees happens on February 27th, and that's going to fall in your 12th house, the house of introspection, of healing, and spirituality. So this is a deeply reflective time for you, right? It's going to be inviting you to set some intentions around emotional release, around inner peace, and connecting with your intuition. So the one aspect that's happening during this moon is that Mercury is conjunct Saturn, right? So your intentions are likely to feel really grounded and practical, and they're probably going to be offering you some strong foundation for some spiritual growth as well. That sextile is going to encourage some innovative approaches to emotional healing for you. So again, I would say it's a good time to consider journaling, meditating, and maybe even exploring some creative outlets, ones that help you to align with your energy. Now from the 9th to the 11th, you're going to have Mercury and the Sun square Uranus in Taurus, and that happens in your second house. So there could be here some tension or some surprises related to your finances, to your resources, to your self-worth maybe. So that energy can feel a little bit disruptive, but it's also an opportunity to look for some breakthroughs, right? If you've had maybe unexpected expenses or maybe some shifts in your expenses arise, then it's important here to stay adaptable and really trust that you have the ability to find some innovative solutions, right? Lean into that. Now, from the 20th to the 27th is when we have sort of back-to-back Mercury aspects. So let's look at those. On the 20th, Mercury is square Jupiter. And this is going to create some tension between your 12th house of inner work and your 3rd house of communication and learning. So you might feel pulled between the need to retreat and reflect versus maybe some external demands or possibly engaging and sharing the ideas that you have. So be mindful of overcommitting or saying yes to too many things during this time. It's a really good time to prioritize and focus what it is that you are aligned with and what aligns with your inner goals. On the 23rd, you'll have Mercury trine Mars, and this is going to connect your 12th house and your 4th house of home and family. So this is a good time to address emotional matters and to make some meaningful steps toward creating stability in your home life. You might be taking some intuitive action here, and that probably will serve you well. So trust your instincts for sure when you are making decisions about either personal or maybe family-related projects. Then on the 25th, Mercury and Saturn are going to meet in your 12th house. And so here you're going to be invited to approach your inner work with some discipline and focus, right? This is an aspect that is ideal for creating a spiritual practice, for maybe setting some boundaries, or even tackling some sort of deep-seated fears that you might have. You probably want to use this time to ground your energy. That way you'll be able to reflect on what emotional and spiritual structures it is that you need to feel supported. On the 27th, then Mercury will sextile Uranus, and this is going to blend some intuitive insight from your 12th house with that innovative energy that's happening in your 2nd house of finances and self-worth. So this is a good time to brainstorm some creative approaches that you could take toward financial matters or to align your emotional well-being with some practical decisions, right? Again, trust your instincts. They are definitely guiding you towards some breakthroughs, ones that can enhance your sense of security, and I think that's probably something that you're looking for here. So all of these Mercury transits, Aries, are really here to sort of slow you down, to allow you some time to reflect and align your inner clarity with your outer actions, right? They're going to lead right up to that new moon in Pisces. And so this is an ideal period to fine tune your intentions and to create some space for emotional healing. All right, for Taurus rising, for you, February is a month of grounding and growth, right? With opportunities that will allow you to align your values, to nurture your emotional foundations, and to set some goals for the future. Now, with your chart ruler, Venus, moving from Pisces into bold Aries, and then you have some significant moons that are going to be shaping your home and your community. This is a month that's really going to help you to find some balance between reflection and forward momentum. So let's first take a look at your chart ruler. Venus is going to start the month in Pisces, and then she'll move into Aries on the 4th. So while Venus is in Pisces, those first few days, you're going to have an emphasis on connection, compassion, and community. And then when Venus moves into Aries, she's going to take this more sort of introspective turn, right? You're going to be focused on what it is that fuels your inner world. So during the first few days of the month, you should lean into that ability to strengthen relationships with your social circle, to pursue some creative projects even. And then once Venus moves into Aries, you're probably going to feel the need to retreat, right? To have some time to recharge and really prioritize your emotional well-being. So this is a good time to reflect on what truly matters to you and to make some space for self-care. Now, the full moon in Leo happens on February 12th, and that's going to be lighting up your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations. So this moon is going to invite you to evaluate your work-life balance and to focus on creating some stability in your private life. You might find yourself reflecting on what it is that makes you feel secure and supported at home. And with that moon being square Uranus in your 1st house, you might have some unexpected changes or insights about your personal identity that arise. So these shifts are probably going to challenge you to rethink how it is that you express your needs within your home and in your family dynamics. Then on February 27th will be the new moon in Pisces, and this is going to activate your 11th house of community, dreams, and long-term goals. So this is a really powerful time to set some intentions for the future, particularly around collaborations, networking, and your shared aspirations. Now, at this moon, we're going to have Mercury conjunct Saturn, and so that's going to bring this sense of grounded focus to that time, and it'll be helping you to plan the next steps with some clarity, whatever those are. Mercury sextile to Uranus is really going to support some innovative ideas and maybe even some unique approaches to achieving your dreams. Now on February 9th through the 11th, we're going to have Mercury and the Sun will be squaring off with Uranus, and this is a period where Uranus is in your 1st house, so it's going to be creating some potential disruptions or maybe some surprises that are related to either your self-image, maybe your personal identity. It could even be your career. Now, while this energy might feel a little bit destabilizing, as Uranus generally does, it's also an invitation to look for some breakthroughs. So you might uncover some new insights about how you present yourself to the world, or you might find some innovative solutions to challenges in your public or your professional life. Now, the Mercury transits that we have from the 20th to the 27th, first, we're going to have Mercury square Jupiter in Gemini, and that's going to, for you, create some tension between your 11th house of community, of goals, and your 2nd house of finances and personal values. So you might feel like you're being stretched a little thin here, right, between your aspirations and your and the resources that are needed to support those aspirations. So be mindful of overcommitting to groups, right, or group efforts, and especially ones that don't really align with your values, right? This transit is going to invite you to find some balance between investing in your dreams and maintaining some financial stability. Now on the 23rd, we'll have Mercury trine Mars, and this is a harmonious aspect, right? It's going to connect your 11th house and your 3rd house of communication and local networks. So this is a really good time for networking, for teamwork, for sharing ideas, and for strengthening connections with people who align with your goals. Your ability to express yourself clearly and take some decisive action can really lead to some meaningful progress in these collaborative efforts that you're looking for. Now on the 25th, we'll have Mercury conjunct Saturn, and that is happening in your 11th house. So this is the perfect time to set some structured long-term goals that are tied to your aspirations or maybe to your community involvement. That energy is really going to support planning and even some disciplined efforts toward achieving something that's meaningful to you. So if there are any serious conversations that you need to have with your collaborators or with your friends, this is a good time to approach them with a level of clarity and focus. Then on the 27th, we'll have Mercury sextile Uranus, and this is going to blend for you intuitive insights with your 11th house and this innovative energy that's happening in your 1st house of identity. So it's a really good time for breakthroughs in how it is that you align your individuality with your broader goals. So here I would say be open to some unconventional ideas or maybe some unexpected opportunities that will help you to express your authentic self within your community. All right, so these Mercury transits are really going to encourage you to refine your aspirations and align with your community or with some collaborators who help support your vision. And as that new moon in Pisces comes in, it'll be a really fantastic time for you to set some intention for long-term success and innovative growth. All right, for Gemini rising, Gemini, for you, February is it's going to be filled with some opportunities for personal growth, for career advancement, and some emotional grounding. Now, Mercury is your chart ruler, and he's going to be making quite the aspects this month that should impact really overall. You're going to feel the energy shift between clarity, creativity, and connection as he moves through. So let's start off with Mercury then. The first half of the month, Mercury is going to travel through Aquarius, and this is amplifying your intellectual clarity and your innovative thinking. So it's a really good time for things like networking, learning, and sharing your ideas with others. On the 14th, Mercury is going to move into Pisces, and that will shift your focus to your career and your public image. So this transit is going to invite you to think intuitively and to communicate with some level of compassion. Mercury is making significant aspects from the 20th to the 27th, so you're going to have opportunities to refine your goals and to take some innovative steps forward. All right, so on February 4th, Venus is going to enter Aries. And this will be activating your 11th house of friendships, networks, and long-term goals. So this is a really good time to connect with supportive communities and to collaborate on some meaningful projects, right? Your social charm is definitely heightened during this time. So it's going to make it easier for you to attract like-minded people and want to inspire who share your aspirations. So this is a really good energy to lean into strengthening those connections and definitely with the people who help uplift you. Now on the 12th, you're going to have the full moon in Leo, and that's going to highlight your 3rd house of communication, learning, and local connections. So this moon is going to encourage you to express yourself boldly and authentically. And it's going to be a good time for you to complete a writing project, maybe to maybe share some creative ideas that you've been mulling over, or even to celebrate a relationship that that helps to keep you intellectually inspired. Now, the one aspect we have during this new moon is at square to Uranus, and that's in your 12th house. So this could be some unexpected revelations. It could be your subconscious sort of having some inspiring insights that could also surface. So it's just a really good time to stay open to shifts that that encourage you to release any patterns that you might be noticing, or maybe just to embrace some new ways of thinking. Then on the 20th, we're going to have Mercury square Jupiter, and this could create some expansive but potentially some overwhelming energy in your 10th house of career, right? It's connecting both your 10th and your first house. So you might feel inspired to take on some ambitious projects, but I'd be cautious about maybe overcommitting or possibly overlooking some important details. I would say balancing your enthusiasm with some practical planning is the way to ensure that your efforts will be aligned with your true goals. Now on the 23rd, Mercury will be trine Mars, and this is going to connect your 10th house of career and your 2nd house of finances. So this is a really good time to take some action on professional projects, or maybe pursue some financial opportunities that are aligned with your long-term goals. So here you're going to want to definitely trust your instincts, right? They are probably going to guide you towards some productive and some rewarding choices. And then on the 25th, you're going to have Mercury conjunct Saturn, and that is happening in your 10th house as well. So this is going to be offering a really grounded, disciplined approach to your career and your public image. It's the perfect time for serious conversations with your mentors, maybe for doing some structured planning, or even for just tackling your long-term goals with a level of focus and determination, right? So use that energy to solidify your professional path forward. And then on February 27th, we'll have Mercury sextile Uranus. And this is an innovative alignment that's going to probably spark some breakthroughs in your career and your subconscious patterns. So it's a good time to embrace unconventional ideas and to trust definitely in your intuition, right? When it comes to your professional decisions. I would stay open to unique opportunities that help you to align with your authentic self. And then also on the 27th, we're going to have that new moon in Pisces, and that will be activating your 10th house of career and public image. So it's making it a powerful time for you to set some intentions around your professional growth. With Mercury conjunct Saturn during that same time, your plans are probably going to feel very practical and achievable, right? So you also have this sextile to Uranus, and that's going to add this spark of innovation. So use this time to visualize the future that you want, and that will help you to create it and to take the first steps toward manifesting it. Good luck to you, Gemini. And now we have Cancer. Welcome, Cancer. I hope you are having a great month. All right, for you, this is a month that's going to be filled with some opportunities for emotional empowerment, for career growth, and for personal alignment. Now, Mars will be stationing direct in your sign, so that's something to be paying specific attention to. Also, you're going to have the moons that are shaping your values and your long-term goals. So this is a time to move forward, but making sure that you are doing that with some clarity and confidence. All right, so as a Cancer rising, the moon is your chart ruler, and so the lunations of the month always have a really significant impact on you. Now, the first one we have is the full moon in Leo on the 12th. That will be lighting up your 2nd house of finances and self-worth. So this is encouraging you to reflect on how your resources are aligned with your values. And then later in the month, we're going to have the new moon in Pisces on the 27th. And so that will be activating your 9th house of higher learning and spiritual growth. And it's going to invite you to set some intentions that are for expanding your horizons, right? These lunations are going to offer you some opportunities for self-reflection, but also for forward planning. Now on February 4th, we're going to have Venus move into Aries, and that'll be activating your 10th house of career and public image. So this is going to be a transit that's going to highlight some opportunities for professional growth, for recognition, and for enhancing your public appeal. So you might feel really inspired to take some bold steps in your career, or you might be attracting some attention for your accomplishments. But this is a good idea to lean into that energy, right, as a way to showcase your talents and pursue some sort of leadership opportunities that might be coming up. On February 9th through the 11th, then Mercury and the Sun are going to square Uranus in your 11th house. So this is the house of community, of friendships, and long-term goals. And these aspects are probably going to bring about some unexpected changes and breakthroughs in your social networks, or maybe in your collaborative efforts. So while the energy can often feel disruptive with Uranus, it is an opportunity to reassess your goals and to embrace some innovative approaches to working with others. So stay flexible and open to new possibilities. They might align with your authentic self more than you expect. All right, for the full moon in Leo, that's going to light up your second house of personal finances, values, and self-worth. So this is going to be a moon that encourages you to evaluate your relationship with money and how it is that your resources support your long-term goals. Now, with the moon square Uranus in your 11th house, unexpected shifts in group dynamics or maybe financial collaborations might arise. So this is a good time to let go of any outdated beliefs that you have around worth, or maybe to just focus on building a foundation that really reflects your true priorities. On February 20th, then we're going to have Mercury square Jupiter in Gemini, and that will probably create some tension between your 9th house of higher learning and your 12th house of introspection. So you might feel really stretched between external ambitions and internal clarity. So be mindful here not to overcommit, right, to either intellectual or spiritual pursuits, not without ensuring that they align with your deeper needs. And definitely focus on finding a balance between expanding outwardly and reflecting inward. On February 23rd, then we'll have Mercury trine Mars, and this is going to connect your 9th house of exploration with your 1st house of self. Now, this is a powerful moment for taking intuitive action on your personal goals, or maybe exploring some new perspectives. So definitely trust your instincts here. They are likely to guide you toward choices that really support your emotional and your personal growth. Then on the 25th, Mercury will be conjunct Saturn, and they will be meeting in your 9th house. So this is a really good time that could bring about some structure to your aspirations. The aspect is definitely going to support some long-term planning for your educational or spiritual goals, and that could be like a serious conversation that you have with a mentor, or maybe just organizing your ambitions all the way around. But this is a really good time for you to ground your dreams in some kind of reality. On the 27th, then, Mercury will sextile Uranus, and this is going to blend intuitive insights in your 9th house with some innovative energy in your 11th house of community. So here you're definitely going to want to embrace some unconventional ideas, or maybe some unique opportunities that align with your long-term aspirations. So stay open to exploring some new collaborations, or maybe networking with folks who inspire you. And then also on the 27th will be the new moon in Pisces, and that's going to activate also your 9th house of higher learning, of travel, and spirituality. So this moon is going to invite you to set some intentions for expanding your horizons, right? Whether that's through study, exploration, or spiritual growth. But Mercury conjunct Saturn during this new moon is really going to make sure that your intentions are grounded in that your intentions are grounded and practical, while that sextile to Uranus is going to encourage some innovation and some fresh ideas. All right, and then back to February 23rd, then this is when Mars stations direct in your sign. So it's going to be marking a turning point for personal empowerment and for forward momentum. So after months of introspection, you probably feel very ready to take some action on some personal goals, right? With both clarity and confidence. So use this energy to assert yourself and to prioritize your needs, especially in matters that are related to home and family. All right, Cancer, this month is going to offer you a blend of emotional empowerment and practical growth. So trust the flow of these transits to guide you toward your goals, and also, make sure that you're honoring your intuition and your values this month. All right, next up we have Leo rising. Hi, Leo. I hope you are doing well. For you, February is going to bring about some opportunities for self-expression, for relationship growth, and for meaningful transformation. So your chart ruler is the sun. He'll be traveling through Aquarius, and then I'll be popping into Pisces near the end of the month. And this is going to encourage you to balance your personal power with some deeper connections. So let's talk about the sun first. The sun is your chart ruler, and his journey this month is going to highlight some key areas of your life. In the first half of February, the sun is activating your 7th house of partnerships. So this energy emphasizes collaboration, connection, and balancing your relationships. And then on the 18th, he's going to transition into Pisces, and that will be moving into your 8th house, the house of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation. So that shift is going to invite you to explore some deeper connections and to focus on managing your shared resources. It's a powerful time for some emotional and financial growth for you. Now, on the 4th of the month, Venus will be moving into Aries. So that will activate your 9th house of higher learning, travel, and spirituality. So this transit is going to encourage you to expand your horizons. That could be by exploring some new cultures. That could be pursuing some educational opportunities. It could just be deepening your spiritual practices. But it's also a great time to connect with people who inspire you and to take some bold steps toward your personal adventure. Now, from the 9th to the 11th, both Mercury and the Sun are going to square Uranus in your 10th house. So this is the house of career and public image. And this energy is probably going to bring some unexpected changes, maybe some breakthroughs in your professional life. So while disruptions are possible, they could very well lead to some innovative solutions or some new opportunities that align you with your authentic self. So stay adaptable, be open to change, and it could very well work out in your favor. Now on the 12th, we'll have the full moon in Leo, and this is going to light up your first house of self, of personal identity and visibility. So this is really your moment to shine, right? It's an opportunity to celebrate your achievements, to embrace your individuality, and to reflect on how your personal growth aligns with your partnerships. Well, there is going to be a square from the moon to Uranus in your 10th house. So you could have some career-related surprises. You could have some shifts that happen that may challenge you to really find a balance between your personal goals and your professional demands. So use this energy to step confidently into the spotlight while also staying flexible with the external changes that may come about. On the 20th, we'll have Mercury square Jupiter at 11 degrees of Gemini, and that is going to probably create some tension between your 8th house of shared resources and transformation and your 11th house of community and long-term goals. So you might feel here torn between deep personal commitments and really your broader aspirations, right? So be mindful of overextending yourself, right? Prioritize what it is that truly aligns with your values, and that's going to support your growth. Then February 23rd, we're going to have Mercury trine Mars. And this is a harmonious connection between your 8th house of transformation and your 12th house of introspection. So this is a really good time for some emotional healing, some intuitive decision making. It's a time where you're going to want to trust that your instincts are guiding you through probably what feels like emotionally complex or maybe difficult financial matters. On the 25th, then Mercury will conjunct Saturn in your 8th house. And this is a time to use a structured approach to your shared finances or maybe some deep emotional commitments, right? This is an aspect that supports having practical conversations about finances, about boundaries, or about even some transformative goals. But it's an energy that you can use to establish a solid foundation for your long-term growth. Now on the 27th, then Mercury will be sextile Uranus, and this will be blending intuitive insights from your 8th house with some innovative energy in your 10th house of career. So it's a good time for breakthroughs in how it is that you manage your shared responsibilities, or maybe for finding some creative solutions to any professional challenges that you are facing. Here I would say be open to some unconventional ideas as well, right? They could lead you to some exciting new opportunities. And then also on February 27th, we have the new moon in Pisces, and that's going to be activating, again, your 8th house. So it's encouraging you to set some intentions for emotional transformation, for financial planning, or for having some deeper connections in your relationships, right? With Mercury conjunct Saturn, your plans are probably going to feel really grounded and realistic, right? While that sextile to Uranus is going to inspire you to look for innovative approaches to achieving your goals. So for you, Leo, this month is going to be a blend of some bold self-expression and some deep personal growth, right? Allow yourself to trust that the flow of these transits is really guiding you toward aligning your goals, while also honoring the relationships in your life and your values. Good luck to you. All right, now we have Virgo rising. Virgo, for you, February is a month of refinement, right? And relationship growth. So your chart ruler is Mercury. He'll be moving from Sagittarius into Pisces, and that shift is going to have you focus on some practical improvements in your daily life and probably some intuitive communications happening in your partnerships. So let's start off with Mercury. Mercury is going to start the month in Aquarius, and that is your 6th house of daily routines, of health and work. So it's going to be bringing some clarity and innovation to how you structure your life. And this is a great time to refine your habits and to tackle projects with efficiency. Now on the 14th, he's going to enter Pisces, and that'll be activating your 7th house of partnerships. So this shift is going to encourage you to approach relationships with compassion and intuition. And it's a really good time to deepen connections and to be improving communications with others. Now first, for transits, we have Venus moving into Aries. This is going to be happening on February 4th, and it's activating your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation. So this transit is going to encourage you to focus on shared financial matters, to deepen emotional bonds, and to explore personal transformation. So if there are some unresolved issues related to shared responsibilities, now is going to be the time to address them with some courage and authenticity. From the 9th to the 11th, we're going to have Mercury and the Sun square Uranus. And this is in your 9th house of beliefs, of education, and travel. So this energy might bring about some unexpected changes in how it is that you view the world. or how you pursue your long-term goals. So Uranus can always feel a little bit disruptive, right? So that's possible, but this can also inspire you to have a fresh perspective, one that aligns with your true values. So I would say stay open to new ideas and try to be flexible with any adjustments to your plans. On February 12th, we'll have the full moon in Leo at 24 degrees. And this is going to highlight your 12th house of introspection, healing, and spirituality. So this is a really good time to release emotional baggage and to focus on inner clarity. Now, the moon is going to be square Uranus in your 9th house. So you could have some unexpected insights about your beliefs, or maybe even some new aspirations might surface. But I would encourage you to use this energy to let go of limiting thought patterns and embrace a deeper connection with your intuition, right? Journaling, meditation, even just some quiet time and retreat can especially be beneficial during this moon. On February 20th, then, we will have Mercury square Jupiter, and this is probably going to create some tension between your 7th house of partnerships and your 10th house of career. So you might feel pulled between the needs of your relationships and the demands of your professional life. Be mindful here of overextending yourself, right? Prioritize communication and ensure that both of these areas of your life have balance. On February 23rd, Mercury will trine Mars, and this is going to connect your 7th house of relationships with your 11th house of community and long-term goals. So this is a great time to collaborate with others, maybe to strengthen your connections, ones that align with your aspirations though. So your ability to blend intention with action is going to be well supported, and that'll be bringing some meaningful progress to your shared efforts. On February 25th, Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn, and that's happening in your 7th house. So this is a time for some serious conversations or maybe some commitments in your relationships. This aspect is going to encourage you to establish some boundaries or maybe take a more grounded approach to your partnerships, right? This could be professional collaborations. It could be personal connections, close partnerships or relationships, but use that energy to create some stability and clarity. Then on the 27th, Mercury will sextile Uranus, and that will be blending some innovative insights from your 7th house with some breakthroughs in your 9th house of beliefs and aspirations. So I would say here it's important to be open to unconventional approaches to resolving your relationship dynamics, or maybe pursuing some shared goals that you have. This is definitely an energy that's going to support creative solutions and unique opportunities. And then on the 27th is the new moon in Pisces, and that's going to be activating your 7th house. So it's making this a really good time to set some intentions for relationship growth, for collaborations, and emotional balance. Now, with Mercury conjunct Saturn during this moon, your goals are likely to be really practical and really grounded, while that sextile to Uranus encourages fresh and innovative ideas for strengthening your connections. All right, Virgo. So for you, February is really a chance to refine your daily habits, to nurture your relationships, and to align with your higher aspirations. So trust that Mercury's energy is really guiding you towards some clarity and balance in your routines and your partnerships. And now we have Libra rising. Libra, for you, February is a month of creative inspiration, of relationship growth, and some practical progress for you. So Venus is your chart ruler. She is going to be moving into Aries, and the moons are really going to be helping you to shape your goals and your routines this month. So you're going to be encouraged to balance your self-expression with some meaningful connection and some grounded habits. your chart ruler, Venus, is going to start the month off in Pisces, and that is your 6th house of health, routines, and daily work. So this placement encourages you to focus on self-care and really refining your daily habits. Now on the 4th, she's going to move into Aries, and that's your 7th house of partnerships. So it's going to be shifting your attention to probably bold and passionate connections, right, with your partnership. So this is a really good time to strengthen relationships, to attract new collaborations, maybe to take some decisive steps in your personal and your professional partnerships. On February 9th through the 11th, Mercury and the Sun are both going to be squaring Uranus, and that is in your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation. So this energy might bring some unexpected changes in financial matters for you, might bring up some deep emotional shifts in your close relationships. Again, I would say while these Uranus transits can usually feel disruptive, they may bring about some challenges for sure, but they also offer an opportunity for breakthroughs in how it is that you approach your shared responsibilities. So this is the time to stay open to some innovative solutions and trust the process of transformation. Now on February 12th, we'll have the full moon in Leo, and that'll be lighting up your house of community, friendships, and long-term goals. So this moon is going to encourage you to reflect on your role within groups and how your collaborative efforts align with your creative aspirations. There is a square to Uranus during this full moon, and that's in your 8th house. So surprises or shifts in group dynamics might arise at this time. I would say use this energy to release some outdated expectations and really focus on building some connections that support your authentic vision. And then our string of Mercury transits. On the 20th, Mercury is going to square Jupiter, and that will be creating some tension between your 6th house of work and routines and your 9th house of beliefs and aspirations. So you're probably going to feel torn between the details of your daily life and the broader goals that you have for either education, travel, or personal growth. Be mindful definitely about overcommitting, right? Too many projects, possibly. So balance your responsibilities with your larger aspirations. Then on the 23rd, you'll have Mercury trine Mars, and this will be connecting your 6th house of work and your 10th house of career. So it's a great time to take some intuitive action related to your professional projects, or maybe to just improve your daily habits, right? In a way that helps support your long-term success. So I would say trust your instincts here, right? They're likely going to be guiding you towards some practical, yet some impactful decisions in those areas of your life. Then on the 25th, you're going to have Mercury conjunct Saturn, and that happens in your 6th house. So this is a time to take a really disciplined approach to your routines and your responsibilities. It's definitely an ideal moment for organizing your daily tasks, for having some serious conversations about work-related matters. And I would use this energy to really establish some habits that help support your overall well-being and success. Now on February 27th, we're going to have Mercury sextile Uranus. And this is in your 6th house, and it'll be blending the energy with your 8th house of shared resources. So this is a really good time to explore new approaches to your work-life balance, or maybe even financial planning, right? I would say be open to some unique solutions, ones that maybe align your personal and your relational goals. And then also on the 27th is the new moon in Pisces, and this is going to be activating again your 6th house. So it's making this a really powerful time for you to set some intentions for health, for wellness, for structured daily routines. So you're going to be encouraged to create some sustainable habits that help support your physical, emotional, and professional well-being. Now, Mercury is conjunct Saturn during this new moon, so your goals will probably feel grounded and achievable, right? But then we're going to have that sextile to Uranus, so that's going to be offering you some opportunities for innovation. All right, Libra, for you, this month is a blend of creative inspiration, of relationship growth, and some practical refinement. So trust the flow of these transits to guide you toward clarity in your connections and in your routines. Good luck to you. All right, next up we have Scorpio rising. Scorpio, for you, this is a month of transformation and alignment with opportunities for you to focus on emotional security, some creative expression, and meaningful relationships. So Mars, your chart ruler, is going to station direct in Cancer, and then the moons are going to be shaping your professional goals and your personal joy. So this is the month that's going to encourage you to balance your long-term ambitions with some everyday fulfillment. All right, let's start off with Mars in Cancer. That is your chart ruler, and this movement forward is especially significant for you. So Mars is retrograde in your 9th house of higher learning, travel, and belief until the 23rd of February. So during that time, you probably have felt, you've probably felt a need to reevaluate your long-term goals or to reconsider plans that are related to education, travel, and personal growth. Now, when Mars stations direct, then you're going to feel like you have the green light to take some action on insights that you've gained, whether that means pursuing a new educational path, maybe planning a trip, or just realigning your broader vision with your future. On February 4th, Venus is going to enter Aries, and this is going to be activating your 6th house of health, work, and daily routines. So this transit brings you some opportunities to enhance your productivity, to improve your self-care, and to strengthen professional relationships. So you might feel inspired to revamp your daily habits or maybe collaborate with coworkers, and to do that in a way that really helps bring more joy and creativity to your life. From the 9th to the 11th, then Mercury and the Sun are going to square Uranus. And Uranus is in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. So this energy might bring about some unexpected changes or maybe some revelations to your one-on-one relationships. And again, those can be personal or professional. So while these disruptions are likely to feel a little bit destabilizing, because that's what Uranus does, this is also offering you an opportunity for some breakthroughs. So I would encourage you to stay open to ways of connecting or maybe approaching shared goals. And remember that really flexibility is going to be key during this time. Then on February 12th is the full moon in Leo. That's at 24 degrees. That'll be highlighting your 10th house of career and public image. So this is a lunation that's going to encourage you to reflect on your professional goals and how it is that your creative talents are aligned with your public presence. Now, this moon is going to be square Uranus in your 7th house. So surprises or shifts in partnerships could really influence your career decisions here. I would say use this as an opportunity to embrace your authentic self in the workplace and also to find ways to harmonize your personal goals with your professional aspirations. On February 20th, Mercury is going to square Jupiter, and that's going to create some tension between your 5th house of creativity and self-expression and your 8th house of shared resources. So you're probably going to feel stretched between your personal aspirations and some financial or some emotional responsibilities. This is a time to be mindful of overcommitting, whether that's to projects or relationships, right? You're going to want to prioritize what truly aligns with your joy and your values. On the 23rd, Mercury is going to trine Mars at 17 degrees, and this is going to connect your 5th house of personal joy and your 9th house of broader visions and exploration. So this is a really good time to take some action on creative pursuits, with romantic endeavors, or just projects that expand your horizons. I would say trust your intuition here to guide you toward what seems like a fulfilling choice. On the 25th, Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn in your 5th house. So this is a really good time for grounding creative ideas and bringing some discipline to either artistic or romantic pursuits, right? That could be you working on a passion project. It could be deepening a connection that you're interested in. But this is an aspect that supports focused and meaningful progress. Now on February 27th, then Mercury is going to sextile Uranus. So this is going to blend your creative insights from your 5th house with some innovative energy in your 7th house of partnerships. So here, it's important to be open to some unconventional ideas or maybe some unique approaches in balancing personal joy and relationship dynamics. This is definitely going to be an energy that supports some breakthroughs in creative collaborations or maybe even romantic endeavors. Then also on the 27th is the new moon in Pisces, and that is activating your 5th house. So it's making this a really good time to set intentions for creative growth, for romantic connections, and for personal joy. Now with Mercury conjunct Saturn during this moon, your goals are probably going to feel really grounded and realistic, right? And that sextile to Uranus is going to offer a fresh and innovative approach to whatever you are setting intentions around. All right, Scorpio, for you, this month is a blend of professional growth, of personal joy, and meaningful transformation. So it's really important to trust that the flow of the transits is guiding you toward clarity and alignment in your goals and in your relationships. Good luck to you. All right, next up we have Sagittarius. Welcome, Sagittarius. For you, February is a month of adventure and alignment, and it has some opportunities to expand your horizons, to nurture your emotional foundations, and to embrace innovative ideas. Now, your chart ruler is Jupiter. He'll be stationing direct in Gemini, and then the moons are going to be helping to shape your goals in your home life. And so this month is really going to be inviting you to balance your personal growth with some meaningful connections. So let's start with Jupiter. Let's see. On February 4th, Jupiter is going to station direct in your 7th house of partnerships, and this is going to be marking the turning point for you related to relationships or collaborations. So while Jupiter's been retrograde, you probably have had some opportunity to reassess how partnerships align with your values and your long-term goals. Now, as Jupiter starts to move forward, then you're going to feel some clarity and some momentum in your connections. And this is going to make it a good time for you to strengthen bonds and to pursue some collaborative opportunities. Now, on the 4th, Venus is going to enter Aries. So this will be activating your 5th house of creativity, romance, and joy. And this is a transit that's going to help to bring a boost of inspiration and probably some passion to this house. It'll be encouraging you to pursue some hobbies, to work on some creative projects, and maybe even get involved in some romantic endeavors, right? So lean into that energy as a way to express yourself boldly, and also to enjoy the things that light you up. From the 9th to the 11th, Mercury and the Sun are going to square Uranus. So this is in your 6th house of health and work routines. So this is an energy that probably will bring some unexpected change, right? Could also be breakthroughs in how it is that you approach your daily task or your wellness habits. So disruptions are definitely possible here, right? But they can help inspire some innovative solutions. So I would say just stay flexible and open to any new ideas for helping improve your routines. On February 12th, the full moon in Leo at 24 degrees. That's going to be highlighting your 12th house, your 9th house of higher learning, travel, and beliefs. And this is a moon that's going to encourage you to reflect on your aspirations and how they are aligned with your personal growth. Now, this moon is also going to be square Uranus in your 6th house. So you could have some unexpected shifts in your work, maybe in your health routines, and they might influence your long-term plans. So use this energy to embrace opportunities for expansion, while also staying open to some practical adjustments that are needed here. On February 20th, we will have Mercury square Jupiter, and this is going to probably create some tension between your 4th house of home and your 7th house of partnerships. So you might feel really pulled between family responsibilities and the needs of your relationships. I would say be mindful of overextending yourself, right? Have some clear communication and be focused on prioritization that's going to help you to balance those areas of your life. On February 23rd, Mercury is going to trine Mars, and this is going to be connecting your 4th house of home and your 8th house of shared resources. And it's really supporting some emotional healing here and some collaborative efforts. So this is a really good time to address any family matters. It's also a good time to work on some shared financial goals, right? As a way to really, I'd say, just be trusting in your instincts when you are navigating these sensitive topics. On February 25th, then we'll have Mercury conjunct Saturn in your 4th house. So it's a time for grounding family goals and for restructuring home-related responsibilities. Now, this aspect probably supports creating a stable and a supportive environment, and that could look like reorganizing your living space, maybe having some serious conversations with some loved ones, but I would say use this energy to bring some clarity and some structure to your home life. Now, on February 27th, then Mercury will sextile Uranus, and so this is going to be blending the energy of your 4th house with your 6th house. So it's a really good time to explore some unique solutions for improving your home life, or maybe for resolving some health related concerns. This is a good time to be open to some unconventional ideas, right? Because they could really lead to some breakthroughs in balancing your emotional and your physical well-being. Then also on the 27th will be the new moon in Pisces, and this will be activating your 4th house. So it's making it a powerful time to set some intentions for emotional security, for home improvements, or maybe even just for your family dynamics. With Mercury conjunct Saturn, your goals are probably going to feel really practical and achievable, right? And that sextile to Uranus is going to offer some fresh perspectives for creating a nurturing and an innovative home environment. All right, Sagittarius, for you, this month is going to be a blend of personal growth, of emotional healing, and some collaborative success. So you should trust that the transits this month are going to guide you toward clarity in your goals and in your connections. Good luck to you. All right, Capricorn, for you, February is a month of growth and alignment, and it's going to have some opportunities to strengthen your emotional foundations, to build some financial stability, and to improve communication. Now, Saturn is your chart ruler, and he'll be making a conjunction with Mercury, and then the moons are going to be helping to shape your partnerships and your goals. So this month is going to invite you to focus on what it is that truly matters to you. So let's start off with Saturn. Saturn is going to be in Pisces all month, right? So this activates your 3rd house, the house of communication, learning, and daily interactions. And This placement really emphasizes the importance of having clear expression, of having some structured thinking, right? Ensuring that that's happening in your day-to-day life. Now on the 25th, then, Mercury will conjunct Saturn, and this makes it a good time for some focused planning and for having some meaningful conversations. So use this energy as a way to organize your thoughts, to refine your communication skills, and to make some long-term plans that help support your goals. All right, Venus is going to move into Aries on February 4th, and that will activate your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations. So this is a transit that's going to encourage you to nurture your home environment and to strengthen your family connections, right? It's also a really good time to make some improvements in your living space, or maybe to address some emotional needs with a sense of warmth and courage. Well, from the 9th to the 11th, Mercury and the Sun are going to square off with Uranus, and this will be happening in your 5th house of creativity, romance, and self-expression. So this is an energy that might bring some unexpected shifts in your creative projects or your relationships. Now with Uranus, we can always feel like things are a little bit disruptive, right? But this transit might offer you some opportunities for some fresh perspectives or for some new approaches. So it's a good idea to stay open to some innovative ideas and to allow yourself to embrace some spontaneity in your creative and your romantic pursuits. Now on February 12th, we'll have the full moon in Leo, and this is going to be highlighting your 8th house of shared resources, of transformation, and emotional depth. So this is going to be a moon that invites you to reflect on your financial partnerships and your emotional commitments, right? It's encouraging you to release anything that really no longer serves your growth. Now, the moon is going to be square Uranus in your 5th house, so you could have some unexpected insights about your creative or your romantic life, right? That could arise. But you should use this energy to find a balance between your personal joy and your shared responsibilities. Now on February 20th, then Mercury is going to square off with Jupiter, and this will be creating some tension between your 3rd house of communication and your 6th house of work and health. So you might feel like you're stretched between your daily responsibilities and the need for effective communication. Here I would say just be mindful of overcommitting, like everyone, right? Prioritize some clear and concise interactions, and that will help you to avoid unnecessary stress. Then on the 23rd, Mercury will trine Mars, and this is going to connect your 3rd house of communication with your 7th house of partnerships, right? So it's supporting some collaboration and some relationship growth. Now, this is a really good time to strengthen bonds with your loved ones, or maybe to just work on some shared goals, right? But trust your instincts here, right? You're going to be navigating some important conversations or maybe some important decisions. On February 25th, then, Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn, and that's in your 3rd house as well. So this is a really good time for some focused and some disciplined communication. This is a transit that's going to support some creative, structured plans, right? It's going to be helping to resolve any misunderstandings. It may also be helping you to dive into some serious topics, right? So use this energy to bring some clarity and some stability to your thoughts and your conversations. Now on February 27th, then Mercury is going to sextile Uranus, and this blends your 3rd house with your 5th house. So here I would say be open to some unique ideas or maybe some creative solutions that can enhance your self-expression or your relationships. This is a really good time to embrace new ways of thinking and new ways of communicating. Then also on February 27th is the new moon in Pisces. That's at 9 degrees. So this activates your 3rd house again, right? So it's making it a really powerful time for you to set some intentions for communication, for learning, for some meaningful connections, right? Mercury is going to be conjunct Saturn during this moon. So your plans are going to feel really grounded and realistic, right? Then there's a sextile to Uranus. So that's offering you this spark of creativity and innovation. So I would encourage you to use that. All right, Capricorn, for you, this is a month that's going to blend some emotional grounding, financial stability, and some communication growth, right? So you should be trusting here that Saturn's guidance is helping you to align your plans with your goals, and it's helping you to create a solid foundation for your future. Good luck to you. All right, we have Aquarius rising. Welcome, Aquarius. I hope you are well. For you, this is a month of transformation and alignment. It's going to have some opportunities for you to step into your personal power, to help you to build some financial stability, and also to embrace some innovative changes within your home. Now, Uranus is your chart ruler, so he is making some connections this month, as well as the moons are going to be highlighting your partnerships and your values. So this is going to be a month that invites you to align with your long-term aspirations overall. All right, we're going to start off with Uranus. Now, he's still in Taurus, has been there for quite a while, right? So that's in your 4th house of home and emotional foundations. Now, this Uranus being in Taurus really emphasizes your need for flexibility and openness to change in your personal life. On the 27th, Mercury is going to form a sextile with Uranus, and that's going to be creating an opportunity for you to have some innovative solutions regarding your financial matters and your home-related decisions, right? So I would encourage you to use this energy to embrace some fresh perspectives and to find really practical ways that align your values with your emotional security. Now, Venus is going to enter Aries on February 4th, and that activates your 3rd house of communication, learning, and local connections. So this transit is going to encourage you to share your ideas, to build some stronger relationships, and to pursue creative or intellectual projects, right? This is a really good time for you to be doing some networking, to strengthen some bonds with your neighbors or your siblings, and also to express yourself with some confidence and some charm. All right, Mercury and the Sun will both be squaring off with Uranus from the 9th to the 11th. And this is going to be in your 4th house of home and emotional foundations. So this is an energy that's probably going to bring some unexpected changes, maybe some disruptions, but ultimately could be some breakthroughs in your personal life, right? So while it can feel disruptive, it is a chance to embrace some innovative solutions for improving your home environment or maybe addressing your emotional needs. I would encourage you to stay flexible, right? Trust in the process, because these shifts are probably going to guide you toward a greater authenticity and probably more alignment. On February 12th, then we have the full moon in Leo, and this is going to be lighting up your 7th house of partnerships. So it's encouraging you to reflect on your personal goals and to align with your shared commitments. Now, the moon is also going to be square Uranus in your 4th house, so you could have some emotional revelations, right? You could have some surprises in your home life. They could all be impacting your relationships, but use this energy to find a balance between your personal needs and your role within partnerships, right? This is going to help to allow some space for authenticity and for mutual growth. On February 20th, Mercury is squared Jupiter, and this is probably going to create some tension for you between the 2nd house of finances and your 5th house of creativity. So for you, you're likely to feel pulled between personal values and the desire to invest in creative projects or maybe even romantic endeavors, right? So be mindful of overextending yourself. You're going to want to balance practicality with passion to ensure that your decisions then are aligned with your long-term goals. On February 23rd, Mercury is going to trine Mars, and this is going to connect your second house of finances and your sixth house of work and health. So this is probably going to be a productive time for you to align your financial goals with your professional projects, maybe for improving your routines and to overall enhance your well-being. So trust in your instincts here, right? They're going to guide you towards some practical, effective choices. Now on February 25th, Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn in your second house. So again, it's a time to ground your financial plans and to create some structured approaches to building stability in your life. Now this is an ideal time for you to have some serious conversations about money, about setting budgets, or maybe about organizing your resources for some long-term growth. Then on February 27th, we're going to have Mercury sextile Uranus, and that will be blending some practical insights from your second house with some innovative energy happening in your fourth house of home. So this is a really good time to explore some unique solutions for financial matters, maybe. It's a good time to make some decisions about your living environment, and particularly ones that align your values with your emotional needs. And then also on February 27th is the new moon in Pisces, and this will be activating your second house again. So this makes it a really good time to set some intentions for financial growth, for things revolving around self-worth and personal values, right? Mercury is going to be conjunct Saturn, so your goals are probably going to feel really grounded and achievable at this time, right? And then you're going to have that sextile to Uranus that offers you some creative and innovative approaches to aligning your values with your resources. So for you, Aquarius, this month is going to be a blend of personal growth, of financial stability, and for emotional alignment, right? Trust here that Uranus's energy is guiding you towards some fresh perspectives and some practical solutions that are going to help support your goals. Good luck to you. All right, and now we have Pisces rising. Welcome, Pisces. For you, February it's a transformative month that's going to have some opportunities for self-discovery, for spiritual growth, and for personal empowerment. Now, Neptune is your modern ruler, and he is aligning with the North Node in your sign, right? And then you're going to have the new moon in Pisces at the end of the month. So it's really your time to embrace your authentic self and to set some powerful intentions for your future. All right, let's start off with your rulers. You have two, Neptune and Jupiter. So on February 4th, Jupiter is going to station direct in Gemini, and that is in your fourth house of home and emotional foundation. So it's bringing some clarity and some momentum to your family matters and your living situations. Now, if you have been reassessing your relationships with home or maybe seeking some financial stability, this shift is probably going to help you to move forward with some confidence in those areas. Now on February 7th then, Neptune is going to align with the North Node in your first house of identity, right? So this is a pretty rare and it's also a powerful transit. It's going to help to highlight the themes of destiny, of spiritual awakening, and of self-realization, right? So it's a real call to embrace your true self and to align with your highest path. On February 4th, Venus is going to move into Aries, and that's going to activate your second house of finances and self-worth. So this transit will be encouraging you to take some bold steps in managing your resources and really valuing yourself. That could be pursuing some financial goals. It could be redefining what it is that brings you a level of security, right? But Venus in Aries is really supporting some proactive steps and some confidence in decision making. All right. On February 7th, then, we are going to see the North Node conjunct Neptune, and that is in your first house. And again, this is a pretty rare alignment for you. And In your first house, it is deeply spiritual. So it's going to invite you to reflect on your personal identity, and it's going to help align you with your higher purpose. So it's definitely a day that you're going to want to trust your intuition and to embrace any opportunities that come about for self-discovery, right, during this time. On the 9th through the 11th, then Mercury and the Sun are going to square Uranus. And this is in your third house of communications, of learning, and of local connections. Also siblings. This is an energy that might bring some unexpected changes in how it is that you express yourself or connect with others. So here I would say, stay flexible and open to some innovative ideas, right? Because it's a really good time for some breakthroughs in your thought processes or maybe with your creative projects. On February 12th, then, is the full moon in Leo, and this is going to light up your 6th house of health, work, and daily routines. And this will be a moon that's encouraging you to reflect on how your habits and your responsibilities support your overall well-being. The moon will be square to Uranus in your 3rd house, so you might experience some shifts in your day-to-day communications or maybe in your work processes. This is an energy that you're going to want to use to let go of routines that are no longer serving you and really to embrace some habits that are more aligned with your goals. On February 20th, Mercury is going to square Jupiter in Gemini. This is going to create for you some tension between your 1st house of self and your 4th house of home. So you might feel like you are being pulled between personal goals and family responsibilities. So this is the time where you're going to want to be mindful of overextending yourself, right? Balance is the key to navigating any of these kinds of energies efficiently when we have polarities. On February 23rd, Mercury is going to trine Mars, and that is in Cancer at 17 degrees. So this is going to connect your 1st house of self-worth with your 5th house of creativity and joy. So this is a really good time for you to pursue some personal passions, maybe some creative projects. Could also be some romantic endeavors, right? But definitely a time to trust your instincts, right? Because they're going to guide you toward fulfilling your most authentic self-expression. On February 25th, Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn, and this is happening in your 1st house. And this is a time for you to really ground your personal goals and to help create some structured plans for your self-development. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to have some serious reflection on who you are and what it is that you want to achieve. So use this transit to solidify your intentions and to commit to your growth. On February 27th, then, we'll have Mercury sextile Uranus, and this is really going to put some innovative energy into your 3rd house, with some personal insights happening in your 1st house. So this is a really great time for you to explore ways of expressing yourself or maybe learning something that enhances your personal growth. So stay open to any unique opportunities that come about for communication and creativity. Then also on February 27th is the new moon in Pisces, your sign, right? So it activates your 1st house again, and it makes it a really powerful time for you to set some intentions regarding your personal growth, your identity, and maybe even spiritual alignment, right? Mercury is going to be conjunct Saturn during this moon, so your goals are probably going to feel really grounded and achievable. And then there's that sextile to Uranus, right? Offering some innovative and creative approaches to pursuing your path. All right, Pisces, for you, this month is going to be a blend of spiritual awakening, of personal empowerment, and some creative expression. So for you, definitely trust that Neptune's guidance here is leading you towards some alignment with your highest self. Good luck to you. All right, that wraps up the horoscopes for the month. I thank you so much for watching. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me at venus'sgreenspot.com. Otherwise, I will see you for the next moon. Thank you.